Hello. What's good, y'all? We are back with another episode of Section 300. I'm your boy G alongside Alec Foster. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. For all our YouTube people, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the show below. And for those elsewhere, make sure you follow us on IG at Section.300 and on Twitter at Section300pod. Definitely appreciate the love. Today, we're back because there's been a whole lot going on in sports, NBA and NFL, and we had to address it all. We're going to start in the NBA. And we have to go straight to the things that just went down, the big trade between Russell Westbrook and John Wall, flipping sides and changing teams. So, Alec, how you feel about the trade that just went down? How you feel about both teams and in their situations? Just what are your thoughts on how it went down?
Yeah, I was shocked to originally get the Woj Bomb tweet that the Wizards and the Rockets were making that deal. I know previously the Wizards GM had said they had no plans on trading John Wall. So, but these GMs be lying to the media.
There were no plans, and then there were talks, and then talks fell apart, and then they came back yesterday, and they were like, "Let's do
it." But I know John Wall wanted out. We know Russ wanted out, and the Wizards weren't a destination that we had even thought of as we tried to predict what might be the best fit for Russ.
But we didn't consider it because we didn't think they needed a trade. We thought with John Wall coming back healthy, we had thought giving at least one more shot with John Wall and Brad Beal together. But I do get it. But continue.
Yeah. So it was definitely a little bit surprising. I didn't know that the Wizards were on Houston's radar at all, really. But I mean, we can get into like how we feel about the trade a little further after you give your thoughts initially. But I was shocked, but intrigued. I think it could work well for both sides potentially. So yeah.
I agree with that. I think both sides won. I also think that I like the direction that the Wizards are going. And I say that because I think while John Wall is a definitely a great piece and definitely should have gotten another shot, but coming back from injury and knowing that Bradley Beal wants to win right now, you don't have time for to wait a year for John Wall to get his feet back under him. Russ is ready to win right now. Bradley Beal is ready to win right now, as I mentioned, and you have a bunch of pieces around him, shooters. The Davis Bertans that they added. Thomas Bryant isn't really a shooter, but he can stretch the floor a little bit. Mo Wagner, all those guys. Rui Hachimura, I believe is how you say his name, that they drafted last year. They have good pieces that next to them that I think could work out very well and could make a nice little push if Russ continues to do what he's been doing in the last few years, and maybe if he adds a little bit of jump shot as well. So I think that this is kind of a last hurrah for Bradley Beal in Washington. Yeah. If it works out, it could stretch longer than that. But if not, we shall see. But I like that
he's in the last year of his deal, right? Or something.
I believe so. But I like that Washington is trying to go all in this last year to make something happen. And have him to come positively out of his tenure. So I like what Washington's done. For Houston, just them strip clubs are going to be fun to watch. might be time to add another jersey in the rafters. John Wall about to be up in there. Things up. Everybody talking about the court. Y'all off the court is the real show right there. So it's gonna be fun. And he's reconnected with Boogie too. Finally, the boys. So it is going to be fun. But on the court, I think John Wall compliments James Harden just like Russ did, while also adding a little bit more of a threat on the perimeter. Excuse me, unlike Russ, because his shooting the last few years there and elsewhere just hasn't been up to par. So I think John Wall, now feeling like he has a lot to prove as well, is going to put on the show, and James Harden, kind of like with Washington, he's going to be on trying to make something positive out of this tenure and try to have a nice last hurrah. So I like both spots for them.
So in saying that, do you feel like either side won the trade?
I think both sides won. I think I said that starting off. I think both sides won, and they're both going to be pushing hard to make something really happen in this year, in this weird short year that we're in.
Right. I think I was looking at both their rosters today, just kind of seeing how that trade potentially affects both teams. I think on paper the Rockets are still a significantly better team,
Sure.
but they also play in a better conference too. So I think that Wall and Harden will find a way to make it work. I mean, Harden has found a way to make it work with Russ and with Chris Paul, but they just haven't gotten over the hump. Like they've hit their ceiling, and their ceiling has been at best Western Conference Finals.
Right.
And I think you kind of get the similar result with John Wall. Probably not even Western Conference Finals, just because of how tough the competition is in the West. I think the Wizards aren't a great team from top to bottom, but the five you mentioned will be good. Their bench has some holes in it, but I like the fit of Russ next to Beal. I think he's one of the better shooters in the league, Bradley Beal, and an easy 30 points on any given night. So to have that next to Russ, I think is great, and to allow Russ to be like the primary ball handler, whereas he kind of had to share duties with Harden in Houston. I think it'll benefit the Wizards, and they could potentially fight for that 8th seed. So, like you said, a win-win for both teams, but in different ways. Yeah.
I could see higher than that for the Wizards, to be honest. I could see them pushing up to 4 or 5, maybe.
I think some other East teams got a little bit better too. So like we'll have to see like how they play come I guess 3 weeks from now when we get off to another restart. But yeah, I mean they could potentially be better. They could potentially be middle of the pack, but we'll see.
Yeah, I like that squad, and I think that as you mentioned, I think Russ is in a great spot where he has pieces around him that give him the freedom to do what he wants. And in Houston, he did what he wanted, but it didn't exactly work. They tried to make it work. Obviously, they went the whole small ball and all of that, but it didn't lead to the great success that they wanted. I think Russ can do what he wants in this offense in Washington, and also get the success that the team wants as well. So I think it works out for both sides, as I've been saying. I'm excited for both. So they got offers on both teams. So definitely fun things there.